They don't just fight Foo, they fight demons in Studio 666, directed by B.J. McConnell, and I promise you I react to that first name with the good taste and maturity that everybody has come to expect from this channel. And if you expect maturity, well, you obviously have not been paying attention to the videos, meaning you are a new viewer, so hi, thank you very much for tuning in. Anyway, he did shorts, music videos, and a movie called Hatchet 3. Yes, I did 3 Hatchet movies. Christ knows why the first one wasn't very fucking good, but nevertheless, this is based on a story idea by Dave Grohl, the lead singer of the Foo Fighters, fighting Foo for years and years and years. A great goddamn band, I might add. I'm not going to say they're my absolute favorite, but they have a lot of songs that will be forever etched in my head. This was also written by Jeff Bueller, who, well, he has a bit of a colorful IMDb, including writing The Prodigy, not Smack My Bitch Up, not that Prodigy, no, the horror movie that really wasn't all that good, and also the Pet Sematary remake that was also not that good, so I was a little bit worried. Also written by Rebecca Hughes, who has only a few credits, including a TV series called Cracking Up. And you will be cracking up when you see this comedy homage to 70s and 80s slashers with a bunch of demonic stuff mixed in, and the Foo Fighters playing themselves, and also Leslie Grossman playing a great ditzy bitch, as it were. She's really, really great at playing roles like that, like she did in AHS Apocalypse, and actually is a pretty funny actress. And yeah, Jenna Ortega's in this. I've also ascertained that horror directors or anybody with a horror idea that cast Jenna Ortega just loves to beat the shit out of her and break every bone in her body. Remember the beginning of Scream 5, If Man Was Still Alive? How she got the shit beaten out of her there. Kind of the same thing here. So this movie's been out for a few months. I will get into spoilers here in a little bit. And one of the Foo Fighter members, Taylor Hawkins, unfortunately did pass away about a month after this. Rest in peace, Taylor. And yeah, this movie, it's not meant to be taken seriously. The Foo Fighters need inspiration for a 10th album. They move into a house that is steeped in grisly rock and roll tragedy, and because it's haunted by the demonic spirit of a former band member, that basically went absolutely nuts and just said, okay, I'm going to become possessed and I'm going to finish this song and things are going to really go south. That's what we see in the beginning with Jenna Ortega, and then the Foo Fighters need inspiration to get their 10th album off the goddamn ground. Jeff Garland is in this, playing an overcooked boiled ham. And he is the studio head that is trying to basically get them, just get this goddamn thing done. Also, Whitney Cummings is in this. That is a last name that, of course, I react to with the good taste and maturity, etc., etc. But she's actually pretty funny. And in this, we just have various horror references. We have a kill inspired by The Burning, which is something I need to retro review at some point. And various other, comedy elements, some silly special effects, and Dave Grohl in using this idea to just basically create this homage to these, horror classics and all the silliness and everything, and just have fun. So the thing about this movie is actually is a lot of fun, and if you try to take this movie seriously, you're not going to have a good time. Like, check your brain at the door and just have fun. I'm not going to say this movie's going to win any awards, and one criticism that I have of it that I had about, an hour or so in was like, okay, lads, it's going a bit long, and unfortunately it was stretching the concept a little bit too far. When you do, like comedy horror like this, and you're doing a mock-up of various horror movies and horror cliches and whatever, your clock is ticking as to when you're going to be stretching the patience and the, and the whole story and the whole concept to the point where it's going to get a little bit ridiculous. This thing goes about 10 to 15 minutes too long in my personal opinion. The Foo Fighters know that they just were meant to play themselves, have fun, and you could clearly tell it was a blast for everybody involved. And at least they made this film while Taylor was still alive. It's a real shame. I do wonder what the future of the band will be, as they made a lot of goddamn money and a lot of great music over the years. Even if, again, they are my favorite band ever. I mean, come on, they had one of the best songs on the goddamn Varsity Blues soundtrack, which was necessarily, they stole the soundtrack. It was petty theft. I kid. That's actually a movie I will retro review at some point. The Foo Fighters just have a lot of fun. That's basically what it is, and there's crazy demonic shit and whatever, and a lot of just goofiness, a lot of general overall goofiness. And Dave Grohl having a lot of fun, having a blast, sinking his teeth into this role, literally and figuratively in some cases. And the lines are really, really cliche. At least Jeff Bueller did better than he did with The Prodigy and Pet Sematary, understanding the necessity of doing comedy here. Like, there's a point where they're going to move in this house for the album inspiration. This place is to die for. Ah, ha, ha, ha. And then we get other stuff like Samantha Whitney Cummings, being a neighbor that has an idea about what's going on at this place and understands, like, okay, some really, really fucked up shit's going to happen. I got to save this band. They're one of my favorite bands, but also I got to save them. And then there's our side story about this delivery driver that wants to give them a demo, or give Dave a demo, and keeps bringing them extra food and everything. It's just fun. It's just meant to be fun. It's ridiculous. It's a lot of goofiness, and that's really all I can say about that. The kills are pretty inventive. There's, stuff with garden shears. There's something with a symbol, because that's some great symbolism, as it were. And the special effects are goofy. I mean, I don't think this movie had a ton of money behind it, and it didn't really need to, because you're just trying to have fun. They didn't insult by making the special effects bad. They just weren't going to pump a whole lot of money in it, because we're just meant to have fun, guys. We're meant to have fun. Again, it does go a little bit long. It's really the only criticism I have. Besides, when the jokes hit, they're great. When they miss, boy, they land with a fucking thud. But, for the most part, they hit every goddamn note, ironically, correctly in this movie. So now I am going to get into spoilers, but check this out. It's on Amazon for like $6. It's certainly, there's certainly worse ways to spend your money, and it's entertaining enough. But let's get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Okay, so basically Dave Grohl ends up getting possessed at one point after they move into this house. He's trying to find inspiration for this music, and at one point, this one guy, Krug, he's a guy helping them tune up their equipment. The demons basically end up frying him or whatever. It's like they got him looking like a fucking bratwurst, which was a line. He's like all fried and everything. It was hilarious. And since it's an Encino mansion, not to be confused with Encino Man, yes, believe it or not, Pauly Shore used to have a career. Christ knows why. The killer gardener of Encino. And yeah, Samantha ends up making them lemon bars and ends up actually being involved in a pretty inventive death a little bit later. And the band has, their fighting points. Lionel Richie shows up when Dave Grohl rips off one of his songs. That's my fucking song. I don't know why that made me laugh. I didn't recognize it was Lionel Richie because he wasn't walking on the ceiling. Anybody that is not a fan of Lionel Richie has no fucking idea what I'm talking about. And there are these weird glowing eyes in the basement. There's this raccoon that's all like gutted and everything and bleeding down into this drain as part of like symbolism, as part of a ritual. There's this book that it turns out it's a book made of human flesh that can summon demons. That was a former member of this band Dream Window that Jenna Ortega was part of, and she got killed in it. She got killed in the very beginning, which was a hilarious death. Stop, hammer time. Jenna Ortega has a really bright future in movies. I just wonder how many directors are going to think about beating the shit out of her and killing her. And if you think about it, like if you saw the movie X, like I did, like normal horror movie fans would, boy, she certainly went through a whole lot there too. Then Dave starts to, he becomes all possessed and everything, becomes more evil. One guy to him says, no, did you just say no to Dave Grohl? And he starts getting all, like, playing on the cliches of a guy thinking he's the big star of a band when it's all the band members coming in together. And then the garden shear death is actually pretty funny. The delivery driver got killed. And one of the band members gets killed via a grill. He gets grilled, he gets his face grilled, and then gets stabbed repeatedly and hacked up. Dave Grohl goes more and more nuts. They're going to make a long song, a 38-minute song, as it were, because why the fuck wouldn't you? And yeah, basically, after the band continues to have differences, after the delivery driver gets killed, they find his body and it's all decapitated, and Samantha shows up. Samantha ends up fucking one of the guys, Rami, I believe. He ends up ramelemon ding-donging her, literally, and then Dave Grohl cuts him up with a chainsaw, and my favorite goddamn death in the movie. Fucking great. Hacks him up, splits the uprights, splits her uprights, and splits him in half. It was great. It was fucking great. That was the kind of tone that the movie should have done a little bit more. And then he kills Taylor with a symbol. And then the two remaining members have to summon the spirits of the book, or summon, the power of the book to save Dave Grohl, and they do. And then it turns out that Jeff Garland's character and Leslie Grossman's character, that were studio people, were all in on this goddamn thing, and they had to make sure the song was finished, because if the song's finished, then they can, I guess, be part of this cult that summons the devil and whatever. And then every other member gets killed. This van ends up getting into, it puts a tentacle right into one of the guy's eyes, and another guy gets run over. It's fucking hilarious. And now Dave Grohl, it has his solo career, and 1 year later, he is going on stage to spread the devil's magic and the devil's music. Again, it does go a bit long at 106 minutes. I think had this been about 90, it probably would have been a little bit better. Some jokes, some segments or scenes could have been cut out, but you know what? It was a love letter to 70s and 80s horror movies mixed with demonic possession, all that. It was a lot of fun, and at least, again, they got to do something with Taylor Hawkins before he tragically, shockingly passed away at age 50, dying about 5 weeks after, 4 weeks after the movie got released, and 5 weeks after his 50th birthday. So rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins. And there you go. If you're a Foo Fighters fan, then you will definitely enjoy this. There is quite a bit of good music and quite a bit of in-references as far as, recycling music, because Dave's just as out of ideas. You can only produce so much goddamn music before some things sound the same. I'm going to give it a B+. Doesn't quite hit the A+ mark because, again, a little bit too long. Some of the jokes miss, but quite entertaining. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Recklin. I'll see you soon.